Bungie's newest DLC for Destiny 2 is a culmination of 10 years of story since the beginning of Destiny 1. It was a saga of light versus dark. Are they considered simply good and evil? What does it mean to wield one power over another? With the final big bad known as the Witness finally revealed, and an epic failure Destiny 2's last DLC was, I prayed Bungie took their time listening to the community and time to develop a worthy expansion that could bring fans back while fostering new ones. A month after its release, I took the time to make sure this expansion was worth coming back to. Welcome to Destiny 2, The Final Shape. I should immediately tell you that I'm an enormous Destiny fan, especially with a focus on its story and the lore. Yet you should also know that I drop D2 like a hot potato anytime they fail to deliver, or if I became too burnt out with their sometimes repetitive gameplay loop. So you will absolutely be getting an honest opinion from me about this expansion. I did so for their DLC Lightfall, and I will do so here. Firstly, the story. Does this conclusion end, and does it go anywhere for the future of the franchise? Yes, and yes. It has probably been the most amazing experience I've had as a sci-fi fan and as a Destiny fan. Bungie has really shown its love for the story by answering so many questions while still introducing new ones for the future without aggravatingly leaving things just to stretch out the content. Your guardian finally enters the godly force that resurrected you in the first place, the Traveler, to see a nostalgic trip of environments from throughout all expansions and story beats. The Traveler uses your memories to reproduce these environments to help guide you to the Witness before he can take over the Traveler's light and enact what he believes is the final shape. An idea that all life in the universe should stop dead in its tracks so not to suffer an inevitable death. Not too different from Thanos' motivations. He believes life is suffering and it should stop. Bungie does an amazing job balancing the introduction of the new environment, character development, and the new powers your Guardian gets. In the last DLC, Lightfall, the entire campaign was a glorified tutorial for the new power called Strand and had the story end nowhere. In the final shape, everything was perfectly woven together. You got to play with the new supers and powers, all while still developing an actual cohesive story. Story pulls at the heartstrings of fans that know the backstories of the characters, all while still properly introducing these characters to new players. You learn the backstories, motivations, and threats of everyone involved much more deeply. It gives you lots of cinematics, and in the end, the payoff is epic. The story ends with more than just one final mission, but a raid that once it was completed by the first raid team, it unlocks another epic final war as a 12-man mission. So even though I can geek out about the story, is the gameplay just as good? I can actually say, meh. The gameplay is still the same as it ever was. The additional new subclass is called Prismatic, which it allows you to blend all the other subclasses to make your own custom builds of most of your favorite powers. And yes, I said most. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you complete access to anything you want, even though Bungie has said during their Strand subclass introduction that they don't care if it breaks the game. So why do you care so much for restricting this one now? Don't get me wrong, this is still a fun subclass for people who are very build focused. It gives lots of options to play around with, along with seasonal mods that change every season. But for me, it's still more of the same. Gameplay is still quality for a first person shooter, but if you're looking for something new, all you're getting for your Guardian power wise is a new super for one subclass during a special mission. When it comes to weapons, Bungie has thrown everything but the kitchen sink at you. Lots of new exotics, classics and new, as well as new exotic class items that allow you to carry multiple perks from multiple exotic armors all at once. Now that's broken. A good broken, a fun broken. And earning them is just as fun with new missions to get them while getting new and different roles every time. I can't in all honestly say the game content gets an A plus for me aside from the new weapons. It's a lot of the same for old fans like me, just in a new wrapping. But for new players, this is the best time to get in on it. There's a ridiculous amount of content, and it's all organized so well to help guide you to reach end game content. On top of that, Bungie implemented an LFG system into the game so you can get those end game content bragging rights completed easily with friends and strangers. For the seasonal content, Bungie has moved away from the old seasonal model of a new season every 3 months to new seasons every four. This means we get 3 seasons a year, which they call episodes instead of seasons. This allows them to develop better quality story and content. Every season before were just rehashes of old seasons or game mechanics that have been overdone to all hell. And this does not seem to be any different so far. I'm hoping things will change with this model, but for the start of this new season, after completing the main campaign, it's still a lot of the same. You go here, kill some things, find an item, kill a boss, talk to a vendor, rinse and repeat until the weekly content is done. Then you wait again, pretty much being drip fed the content. I'm still crossing fingers when the new model is given some time to marinate. Hopefully, it would allow for better, less predictable content. Hopefully. But this isn't a let's hope for the best review. It's a current state of the game review. So let's go over what we covered. Story is amazing. This is where most of the love was put into. That includes level designs, environment, and campaign missions. This is what Bungie is truly known for. Excellent sci-fi storytelling, just like they did back in the day with Halo. When it comes to gameplay, although it's a lot of the same, it's still fun and especially will be enjoyable for new players. There's a ton of content to go through for exotic weapons and armor, and that is where the gameplay bread and butter really is. I can't wait to see some unique prismatic builds and fun times with the raids. It's a good time to jump in for a grind, and it's a good new game for new players. And for those who really want to see how it all ends after 10 years, you will not be disappointed. I'm giving Destiny 2 the final shape 4 out of 5 stars.